Well, I come from a very religious background or like a religious family. And so coming out was definitely something I needed or like it felt like a big thing. So coming out was something I felt like I needed to do to my family. My story was I was living in Seattle and I met my previous partner. And I don't know, I was like always open to the idea of dating someone born female, but like I never actually did. Like I just was always dating men and I was like, thought there was something wrong with me because everything.
No, there's something wrong with men. I think that's what it
Yeah,
is.
well,
Yeah.
that's true.
Except me.
Except for you,
As
of
Faith.
course. Yeah. According
she
to
says I'm
Faith.
perfect though. She never said anything bad about me.
Right.
She never gets
right,
mad. Ever.
Right. Blink twice if you need help. No, just kidding.
Me or her?
And I had just gotten out of this like really religious relationship with this guy. And I was like, I'm done. I hate people. I'm just going to be single until I move back home and like find my person at home. And then I met my previous partner and I was like, oh, wait, I find you attractive and you're certainly born female. I say born female because my ex is non-binary and trans. So like born female, but transitioned to male,
Oh, okay.
but non-binary.
Okay. I'm still getting used to the terms.
I know.
It's hard for me to follow.
No, I know.
Yeah.
No, I know. I understand. And yeah, I just was like, oh, wait, I'm noticing this attraction that I have toward this person. And I'm also noticing a whole bunch of shame coming up for me. And that was my reason for continuing to explore and allow myself to have feelings for this person. This person's name is Julian, by the way. I think that's just easier.
Yeah, totally fine.
So Julian and I dated for like 4.5 years and they moved home.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. We dated for 4.5 years. And
Secretly or openly?
openly.
Okay.
Openly.
Because at
And
this point, you've already told your family.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
Yes,
okay,
I did tell my family, but not all of my family.
Okay.
So anyway, like Julian and I started dating and I was like, okay, I think this is more than just like a experimental fling. Like I think I really have feelings for this person. I feel attracted to this person. And I want the people that I know and love to know this about me. So I kind of just called my family and I told them like, hi. At the time, Julian was still identifying as a woman. So I was like, I'm dating a woman. And my family was like, oh, that's interesting. They were kind of just thrown off. They weren't, my family's religious, like I said, so they weren't like super stoked about it, but they also weren't mad. Like they weren't like, don't talk to us ever.
Yeah.
Which is...
Did they have any idea?
No.
You know, because some people you can kind of tell. We have cousins and classmates and
Totally.
we're just like, surprise.
Yeah.
Like we kind of figured, because I know people like that in my life.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why they didn't suspect me, because I have family members that were more obvious.
And they're like more flamboyant. That's why. Or more,
exactly.
And that's usually how most people would tell. Like it's one of the signs that's a little bit more obvious.
Yeah.
Not saying that everybody has to be flamboyant.
Right.
It's just how we kind of.
It's a spectrum.
Yeah.
So like some people are a little bit more flamboyant and on that side of the spectrum, and some people are in the middle and like both. And then some people are like, I wanted to experiment that one time and I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't do that again.
Yeah.
Like it's a spectrum, and that was kind of what I wanted to talk about, like having a platform like Miss Hawaii. I wanted to be able to say like, this is normal, this is fine, like, and just open the conversation, open the floor for people to just ask questions and be curious and understand better, because the goal, right, is to be able to love more people that are different from you. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So.
Is it offensive to be like, I don't know if you got this maybe from your family, and if they say, wow, but you seem so normal, or is that offensive? Have you ever got that?
Like normal for being gay?
No, like, you know how it's like, I wouldn't expect you to be gay, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Like I seem really straight.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Is that like offensive when people tell you that?
No, I think it's just an observation.
Oh, okay.
Because I think it's only offensive if somebody is saying it like with the intention of being offensive, you know? But I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, not for me because I know, like I look feminine and I have dated men and like I have been attracted to men. And so the way my sexuality is I'm pansexual. So that just means that it's just a box to say that I don't have a preference.
You love what you love.
Yeah. I just love who I love. And it's more about the emotional connection than it is about the physical presentation. And I think that was the hardest part for my family because my previous partner was trans and like Julian went through their transition during our relationship, and explaining that to my family was what was hard for them because they're like, well, you can't change your assigned biology. And I'm like, well, that's true, but you can feel unaligned, or is that the right word? You can feel like you can feel like you're not supposed to be in that body, you know? And I think that is normal and natural and it happens.
Yeah. I think the hard part for people who are heterosexual is to empathize because they don't know what that feels like.
No, yeah, exactly.
And that's why it seems like a lot of people invalidate people's feelings, which is why, you know, we end up saying like, oh, they're so sensitive or, you know, stuff. But I think there is a deeper layer of just like, we don't know what it's like to not be comfortable in our own skin in other ways, whether that's like beauty wise or, you know, our body, whatever it is, you know, identity as like a cultural identity. We can relate it to that, but it's different, you know. It's just like if I told you, oh man, I had to travel 4 hours in a bus on bad roads to Madagascar, you'd be like, oh, that sucks. But you don't know how it feels, right?
No, yeah.
You don't really know how it feels. So it's the same thing where it's like, we can't truly understand, but we can be supportive. We can be sympathetic, you know, oh man, like I'm sorry you had to go through that, you know, and I'm just happy that you're able to figure it out and find happiness. Because at the end of the day, that's all I care about is just people being happy.
Right.
As long as you're not hurting yourself, you're not hurting others, that's all I care about.
Yeah, and I think people just like need to have spaces like these to talk about it, right?
Yeah.
And or be educated. And I think there's a problem when we're too scared to ask or we're too scared to like offend people. Yeah.
Oh, be curious, not judgmental.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about.
No, totally. And in my time as Miss Hawaii, like there were so many people that came up to me and they were like, you're like just existing, like you living your life and being happy with your partner, with Carmen, gives me hope that like I can have that one day too. Like I had a contestant who's a teen from Miss America call me, and she just said that she was so happy to see that, and she was just, it brought her to tears in a way that was very healing to her. And then right after I won Miss Hawaii, there was a parent that came up to me and said that her daughter stopped being bullied at school because she was more obviously gay. And then when Miss Hawaii was gay, the boys at school were like, oh, I can't tease you for that anymore, I guess.
Because it's cool to be gay.
Now it's cool. Yeah. You get a sparkly hat for that now.
Yeah, I mean, the times have definitely changed.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up Hawai'i immersion school from the like early 90s to like the early 2000s. And, you know, every class had a mahu. Yeah. That's just like, I don't know why, just every class had a mahu, basically. And it was just kind of normal around, you know, that environment, because, you know, Hawaiian culture, it's like something that's just a part of it.
Right.
You know, but, you know, I can say like growing up, I kind of felt uncomfortable because some of the guys are very flamboyant, would like make comments, you know, try to like make you feel uncomfortable on purpose. And, but though, you know, the more time has has gone and we adapt and we get more comfortable around the idea of that, of like, wow, a man can love a man, a female can love a female, you know? I think it just changed. And I think it just took some time because, you know, we're in America, which is very Christian and, you know, very old school beliefs. And especially if you come from a religious family, you think like, oh no, that's just not porno, right? So I just feel like now, like from 2010s and on, maybe around that time is when we really started to accept, homosexuality and stuff like that. So I think you coming into your own at the time of the Miss Hawaii contest was like the perfect time because you're the representation not only for Native Hawaiians, not only for foster care system for, you know, queer and, you know, sorry, I don't know all the terms, but
no, queer is great.
Yeah, okay.
You're right. Cool.
You're good. I'm always learning. Yeah.
And that's really all you can do.
Yeah, totally. How comfortable do you feel talking about all of this now?
I mean, I feel fine. I can only talk about my experience. I still worry about. I still feel like a gay baby, even though I came out like 6 years ago.
And gayby.
Those are your two
Okay, that's
terms.
my two terms I'm gonna take home today.
So I don't feel like I know all of the different experiences, and especially like Carmen, my fiance.
Hey.
Oh my gosh. Let me.
No. Can we turn the brightness down over here? The light and the ring off the light is just blinding. Jeez.
Kamaka is not allowed to drive home anymore. If you see Kamaka driving, please avoid.
Just give me my sunglasses. I'll be fine.
My fiance she doesn't feel uncomfortable in her body. Like she feels aligned with herself, but she's more masculine.
Yeah, but you two are so cute together.
Oh my gosh, thanks.
You guys are such a good match.
Thanks. Have you seen our puppy?
Did you post about it?
Yeah, Maluhia.
I feel like I probably saw it on Instagram.
Probably.
Yeah. Okay.
She's a chocolate lab.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think so.
Our cute little family. I'm very happy. But, so being with Carmen, like I don't have as many of the conversations about an experience I don't understand because she aligns with her body like I do. But when I was with Julian, like I learned so much about what it meant to be non-binary, what it meant to transition, and like helping them through that taught me a lot. But I also am careful not to like claim that experience as my own, right? My only goal is like to facilitate conversations and then ask questions so that people can have more sympathy and empathy. So I feel comfortable talking about it, but I don't ever claim to be the expert.
Oh, yeah, you're just sharing your own personal experience, which is all you can do, like you said.
And just like making space to like make mistakes and like fumble and be okay about it.
It's a little bit more scary to do it with a platform.
Yeah.
You know, rather than somebody just doing it that doesn't have social media, that doesn't have to show up to these, have to make public appearances and stuff like that. You're under a microscope, so it's a little bit more nerve-wracking, but you did it with such grace, as all Miss Hawaii do.
Thanks.